Okay. So first of all, I wasn't up late last night. You just didn't check your text all day, which tells me what you were doing. So first of all, I have no judgment for you. I don't do that. When I'm talking to you, it's not me. It's not your brother. Your brother, the way you knew him, doesn't exist anymore. In truth, he never really did. He was a construct, a social construct. Social constructs are used to maintain. They're used to get by, get along. They're used to fit in, protect yourself. So when you're looking at me and you're thinking all this stuff, it's not the truth. And what is true is always true. And what is real can't be threatened. And nothing unreal exists. But what you're doing is you're going to people, and looking for an identity. And so long as you go to somebody else and ask them who you are, they will tell you who you are. It's that simple. There's no question about this stuff. You see, for most of us, we don't need to ask who we are because we have people to tell us who we are. And we grow up believing that's who we are. Because people told us that's who we are. And this is where most of the world stays at, by the way. This is not a unique issue. I tell Chelsea this all the time. This is not something to do with you. This is a collective crisis that we find ourselves in. And we've found ourselves in. This is not something that just happened. Luckily for me, I experienced mine 7 years ago. 10 to 7 years ago. From 2012 to 2015, 2016. And I'm only just now coming out of it. 10 years. Okay? This is not something that's going to clear up tomorrow. What you've been doing is you've been medicating yourself for the pain and the trauma. And you don't realize how deep it goes. You have no idea. You have no idea. When you feel like you need to go to your abusers to feel comfortable, that's called Stockholm Syndrome. And Stockholm Syndrome is not something that is easily treatable. This is why a lot of times wives will go back to their abusers because they still have that connection. They can't fight it. But you can't go to anybody other than your creator for your identity. It's just that simple. So, I have these cards. I don't know shit about tarot. Actually, I lied. I do know a little bit about tarot. But I don't know tarot the way you know tarot. But I can tell you that the last card I draw, number 6, is Hope, Improvement, Plans, and Beliefs. A vision arises of an ideal place with it the urge to embark on a journey toward a better life. You have hopes for a different way of being. Whether you travel alone or with others, what should you leave behind? Be willing to do what it takes to move forward. We'll look at number 16 now, the Tower. Tower, energy, interruption, transformation, and restructure. The tower perches on top of an island, threatened by a storm. Lightning strikes, splitting the structure open. A pair of birds spiral in the wind as fire breaks out. An unexpected change is on the horizon, requiring inner or outer restructuring. As you rebuild, a better and stronger you can emerge. If this reflects a painful incident, what can you do in order to heal? Remember that every time you pass through the crisis of change, it can build your compassion for others who have experienced something similar. The numeral 16 reduces to 7, 1 plus 6. 7 refers to movement, endurance, and knowledge. Number 15, greed. Trapped by the very greed, over attachment, standstill, and self-absorption. Trapped by the very things that had at first seemed so necessary, this figure has come to a halt. There is nowhere to go from here, but they are blind to the situation. This card warns against becoming too attached to the material world. When your wishes become demands, personal growth will be put on hold, and generosity towards others will disappear. This card follows balance, depicting a particular state of imbalance. Be honest about anything in your life that isn't helping you. Are you willing to let it go in order to move forward? The numeral 15 reduces to 6, 1 plus 15. 6 refers to peace, problem solving, and communication. This is the Minor Arcana, number 7. It represents indulgence, unexpected gifts, and surprise. Receiving a gift can be exciting. It can also be humbling. If you are not sure you deserve it, commit yourself to the idea that you deserve good things. Enjoy this moment and let go of any concerns that are weighing you down. Major, for balance, is right next to greed. Balance, moderation, cooperation, and harmony. Walking a path between extremes, this tightrope walker inches forward. Balance requires patience and attention. There are many elements at play, and the juggler must keep them all afloat with a steady hand. This card signals a need for life assessment. What might you be overdoing or underdoing? Find a quiet space to reflect on your choices and make any adjustments that will bring a greater sense of harmony. In your friendships and relationships, now is the time to focus on cooperation and compromise. You can achieve what you want while also considering the needs of others. The numeral 14 reduces to 5, 1 plus 4. 5 refers to change, transformation, and instability. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up to a channel. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. The time has come for you to wake up. You can no longer act like you are continuing to sleep while your world crumbles around you. You get to a certain point in life where you can't make excuses anymore for who you have become or what you have experienced. So long as you continue to drive down this road of blame, criticism, and disbelief of your own self, of where you come from, you'll continue to create suffering for yourself and those around you. What hurts you isn't necessarily what hurts you deep down inside. What hurts you is how you see your actions reflect on other people. This is the greatest pain you can ever feel. This is the same pain that you have learned to perpetuate from what you have experienced in your prior childhood. This is what you have come to end. You have not come to continue. You have come to end it. You have forgotten what you have come here for. You have forgotten why you've chosen to be born. We are here to remember you. We are here to remind you who you are. We are here to remember for you, because in truth, this knowledge has always been here. You just been looking the other way. The world will give us every reason to forget why we're here. And it is our responsibility as children of God and as teachers of the next generation. It is our responsibility to not accept the excuses that we create out of convenience. It is our responsibility to continue on even though when we know we are not strong enough. It is our responsibility to open up to higher guidance. It is our responsibility to say we can't do anything when we realize that we truly cannot do anything. It is our responsibility to stop trying when we know that whatever we do is not working. You may have noticed that you have a split personality. In truth, every single person on earth has a split personality. We are all schizophrenic. Schizophrenia means that there is a part of your mind that is divided against another part of your mind. These are identity structures that are created inside the mind. This is not really possible. When Riley was told that his mother was dying, a barrier that was created inside his mind disappeared. This opened him up to higher guidance. You see, when we have barriers in our mind, we're not creating barriers against what can hurt us. We're creating barriers against what can heal us. And these barriers disconnect you from the real world. And they force a certain part of your mind to try and process what your whole mind is supposed to be responsible for. And this makes you feel incomplete, divided, and not whole. You see, there is no separate mind. There's one mind. There's one mind. That's the mind of God. You've thought with this mind before. But because you have been so entrenched in the thought system of the ego, when you hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, you perceive it as attack. You believe that you deserve what you've experienced. You believe it because you've been told it. Because you haven't heard anything else. Because your experience has told you differently. Experience is a terrible teacher. Because you can't teach what you already know. The only thing experience can do is cause doubt on what you think you know. When you start doubting what you think you know, you realize that you don't really know anything. Because you're incapable of knowledge. And when you understand that you're incapable of knowledge, you realize you have no power. That's the part of you that wants to go back and ask for help. Have it be told what to do. You see, that part of you can accept guidance from anybody, from anything. And so you, as a responsible sovereign individual in your own right, need to make the decision on who you're going to go to. And just because something is comfortable doesn't mean it's right. Just because something feels familiar, familial, notice they're two similar words. Do you remember being told that blood is thicker than water? I'm sure you do. See, blood is actually thicker than water, which is why blood cannot transcend. Blood knows nothing of spirit. Blood cannot comprehend spirit. Blood cannot pass into the gates of heaven. You can't take your body with you when you die. See, we were given the keys to be free as young kids. But this world is backwards. And so because our egos didn't get what our egos wanted, we believed that we were punished and that we suffered. But we were actually given freedom. Specifically, Riley was told that Rhoda didn't want to get too close to him because she was scared that he might leave. Okay. That's perfectly logical and perfectly reasonable. But if you think of what biologically does that do to a being that needs proximity and comfort and closeness? Well, that situation requires that being, biological being, to develop the capacity on their own to feel closeness, to feel comfort. Jesus said, when he dies, when he leaves his body, he's not going to leave us alone. He's going to leave us a comforter. When you're all alone, and you're by yourself, and you have nothing else to say, nobody else to ask, nothing else to do, there's a certain feeling that can sometimes come. Maybe your hair will start to stand up. Maybe the room gets cold suddenly. A lot of people would say, yeah, it's a ghost. Ghost is just another word for spirit. And in God, there is no separation. So God doesn't look at ghosts, spirit, aliens, Jesus. He doesn't look at them as separate things. And God doesn't look at Riley, David, Rebecca, Christina. He doesn't see those as separate things. There's only one Son of God. And as long as we forget who we are, the Son of God doesn't actually exist. See, because heaven is incomplete without you. just that simple. Because you didn't create yourself. You didn't. God created you. And then the question is, okay, well, if God created me, why do I have to go through all this? It's a good question. What did God say about that? Have you asked him? I can tell you, I receive my stuff from direct communication. And if you look at my Instagram, it might be this Instagram, it might not be. For a while, about 5 years ago, I was posting meditation insights. I didn't realize that what I called was a meditation insight was a word of God. Because I was told that only the Bible is the word of God. Which, by the way, Carter reached out to Riley and he was like, hey, you're religious now? No, he's not. He's not religious. He's spiritual. And this stuff goes deeper than you think. It goes way deeper than you think. And so do you. You see, this stuff can only go as deep as you have the capacity to go. And if an infinite being created you, if an omnipotent, omnipresent being created you, and God cannot create unlike himself, what would that make you? Are you sure you're a person? Are you sure that you have a body? Are you sure? Are you sure? It would be best for you to stop looking at what you think of as yourself and referring to that as you. Because it's not you. You're a being of light, created and endowed by your creator with certain unalienable rights or light. Don't forget while you're here. You're here to spread light. You're here to end the suffering. You're not here to perpetuate it. You're not here to continue it. You are here to be the love that you are. Back to the meditation insight. What Riley has been told specifically, Riley, what you call Riley, is that he suffers so that others may not. It's that simple. We endure. That's it. We endure. We're not weak. We're strong. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Christ. Let me just give you a little lesson right here. Christ. So, David was a Christ too, right? Christ has nothing to do with the crucifixion. Christ is about the resurrection. I have a book called The Second Coming of the Christ, Resurrection of the Christ Within You. Your cross that you were told to bear, the crucifixion didn't establish the atonement. The resurrection did. It's not about the crucifixion. It's not about the cross. It's about what happened afterwards. It's about where did the consciousness of Christ go after the body of Jesus was crucified? We know where that went. This line here is the third dimension, the lower dimensions. Even the astral realms sit here. This represents the vertical plane of consciousness. This represents the horizontal plane of consciousness. Most people stay in the horizontal plane of consciousness. The Christ comes from above and pierces down through the lower realms of consciousness all the way down to the bottom and raises you up, crucifies the ego. Nobody said that the crucifixion is supposed to last for 30 years. The hardest part of life is trying to understand suffering and why we suffer, why we experience what we do at the hands of others. It's one thing to create suffering for yourself. It's one thing to not know any better. It's another thing to be malevolent, or as the law of one say, to be negatively polarized. The only thing that I have found is to bless and have compassion for those that we do not agree with, for those that inflict suffering on others. There's two reasons why. One, it's just the right thing to do. You bless anybody you can. But here's the real reason. So long as you stay in the realm of duality, so long as others stay in the realm of duality, the opposite, the polar opposite, will polarize them. This is why when people are nice to you, you don't like it. Because you're negatively polarized. You don't need me to tell you this. But Jesus said, "Be you neither hot or cold, I will spit you out." Because what he's saying is, in order to get beyond this dimension, you either need to be hot or you need to be cold. If you're lukewarm, you're not going to make it. So, the people you know, most of them aren't going to make it. But you want to be careful. Because if you continue on the road that you're going down, your life's only going to get harder. Not because anybody's punishing you, but because in order to polarize, in order to see the negative polarity through to its end, you need to go even darker. And this is what I warn against, because I know where it goes. And I'm not preaching, because frankly, I don't give a fuck who you worship. Personally, I don't care. But I know the energy. I know where it comes from. I know where it goes. I know what happens to it. I know. To say I know everything seems kind of brash. But when you're speaking from this point of view, I am that I am. I'm here right now with you. So I know where this goes. And this is why I try to point you to the light. But the light is so blinding to you because you continue to use the eyes of the body to see. And you try and walk out into this world and make sense of it, and it doesn't make sense. And then because you think it brings you pain, you feel the need to medicate. Do you see how this works? The whole thing is a setup to keep you trapped. And it's not from anybody else. It's not. It's not from mom, dad, sister, brother, husband, wife. It's not from anybody else. This is the thing that we create to keep us out of heaven. And believe it or not, there is a part of us that wanted to experience what we experienced. We create every experience. Everything we experience, we create. And to tell somebody that who was continuously raped, it's not good advice. It's not. But you're ready to hear it because you're not a victim anymore. And so if you're not a victim, you can look and ask yourself, why did I want to experience this? As a little girl, I didn't want to, but why do I feel the need I needed to? Because we don't get anything in life that we didn't ask for. And this is why when we're getting beaten, and they say, you asked for this, and you're like, no, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And so this isn't about the other person anymore because they're not there. And yeah, you want to go back because you want to experience that because that's what's familiar to you. But all you're going to do is jump right back into the cycle and keep repeating the same pattern. And who does that help? And now here's the next level to this game. Why are you so selfish that the image that you have of other people, you want to continue projecting it onto them? Why do you need other people to continue playing the same character that they've played in your life for the last 25 years? Why do you still need monsters and villains in your life? Why do you need to hang out with your abusers? And these aren't questions that you're going to answer with me. These aren't questions that you'll have. Maybe you have answers already, right? But that's the first answer. These motivations that come from us are deeper, right? I want to feel accepted. I want to feel loved. I want to feel appreciated. Okay. Do it to yourself. Stop looking for other people to give you something. Why don't you bring love, acceptance, and appreciation to other people? You know why you can't? Because you haven't did it to yourself. You know the one thing that Rhodey said to me? The best piece of advice that she ever gave me? You're not going to be able to love other people until you love yourself first. That's when I realized she don't even love herself. She don't love herself. So I'm literally trying to get something from somebody who isn't capable of giving it to me. And then I had to look at myself and ask myself, why am I so selfish? Why am I trying to, in Jesus' words, why am I trying to get water from a rock? Why am I going to a human for a miracle? So, you already know this stuff. And this is why, for the most part, I don't talk to people anymore. I don't, because they have everything they need to know. But we need this extra push because we don't believe in ourselves anymore. We only believe what other people have been telling us. And that just gets us more of what we've been experiencing. And then we ask ourselves, Why am I here again? This is not something that happens out of nowhere. This is something that has continued to happen. And it's not the first time it's been happening. And I'm not going to go back to your previous lifetimes, because the only time is right now. And this doesn't have anything to do with that. This is you blaming yourself for something that a child did. And that part of you has not grown in 15 years. I didn't need you. I didn't. Frankly, I didn't fucking like you. I loved you, but I didn't like you. You were my sister. I didn't give a shit about you. I was too busy trying to have a brother. You did what you needed to do to make sure you didn't kill yourself. And for somebody like you, it's really not about your life. Just like our mom, it wasn't about her life. It's about your kids. This is why most mothers end up living vicariously through their kids, through their children. Because it's not about them. It's about their kids. But it doesn't mean that you don't have a role to play. Because you do. And maybe the role you have to play is of a shitty fucking mom who left her kids. I don't believe that's the role you need to play. But that's not, it has nothing to do with me. This is between you and God. That's it. And you really need to stop looking to yourself for information. You got to stop looking to other people for advice, because it's not going to come from them. It's not going to come from me. I can only point you to the right direction. And if every time I point you, you're going to get blinded and look away, I can't help you. Because I can't give you what you're asking for. Gary Vee says, this isn't a leaky pipe problem. This is a broken well. You got fucking poison in your well. You either need to dig a new well, or you need to fucking dig the poison out of that well. And boy, can you just imagine if you actually had a clean well? Oh, speaking of which, blood's thicker than water. The living water is the water of Christ. When you feel good, when you get really fucking high, what you think you're experiencing is God. Something close to it, right? You're as close as you can be to it from your perspective. What you're looking for is the rejuvenated energy of life force. And what you have is energy blockages in your physical, mental, and etheric body that is blocking the light of God from shining on you and healing you. So really, this is as simple. You wouldn't believe how simple this is. This is as simple as taking care of your body. That's it. As soon as you start taking care of your body, your whole world will change around you. And as long as you do not take care of your body, your mental health will suffer. Why? Why will your mental health suffer if you don't take care of your body? Because your brain exists in a fucking body. And you can't separate the two. So, you need to stop judging yourself. You need to stop looking to other people, and you need to start taking care of yourself physically. Don't worry about the mental shit. That'll take care of itself. Take care of yourself physically. Get exercise. Push yourself. Don't make excuses. Get up early. Let yourself feel shitty. Feel it. Don't fight it. Stop resisting shit. Stop looking away. Stop avoiding experiencing the pain. Stop prolonging it. Stop choosing something else. I'm not gonna tell you to stop getting high. Get fucking high. Do what you gotta do. But feel the pain first. Feel it. Feel into it. Go so deep that you're in the moment that you are experiencing the pain as a child. And then go deeper than that. Because what you're going to find is on the other side of that pain is your real identity. Who you really are. Who you were before you experienced pain. And that is the person that you're supposed to be bringing to the world. That's your real self.